Good Thursday morning, everyone. Welcome back. You're watching the Kaiser Report. I'm John, here to talk to you a little bit today about a few things that were going on. I'm sure you all had an opportunity to see the broadcast from the car yesterday. My root canal went perfectly with no problems at all. Great shout out to the doctor there, and that was Dr. Elliott. And he did a wonderful job, and we're happy to be back here in the studio today. Kaiser was groomed yesterday, so he's his handsome self again, and once again on the couch. So we're going to move forward with talking today about a few things that is going on around the world. I guess the world is kind of glued to watching the visits, the three country visits by Donald Trump in the Middle East right now. He's over in, he started in Saudi, went to Qatar, and now he's in the Emirates one more time, talking a deal with some people that may or may not be very, very beneficial to the United States of America, along with themselves included. It was kind of interesting that what he had seen there as far as the progress that has been made, not only in buildings, but occupancy in the buildings and the cleanliness of the cities, had to be a little bit taken back by Donald Trump visiting this. It's not his first go around there, but he has seen the remarkable finished products of what he saw in his last term and is willing to give them whatever help. And reciprocally, we can get more, not only oil from these people, but ideas for the up-and-coming AI revolution that is going to hit this country and hit it way sooner than we anticipated. We already have robo-taxis. We have robots that were unleashed over there to do even the Trump dance for the crown princes, and they were very well aware that they need to have these type of progresses coming aboard in this AI world that we will live in before too long. So as he's over there making headways, Morning Joe is on this morning telling people that everything is doom and gloom again, and we don't like Donald Trump, and Donald's not saying the truth, and so on and so on. But that's Morning Jackass for you. He cannot help himself. And he knows that I guess there's something going on inside the Brzezinski family, that his wife has been absent for a day or two there, but I'm not sure what that entails, nor do I care, because these people are idiots, and he is probably one of the largest, stupidest men I've ever had the privilege of listening to. But this morning was interesting, so let's just take a look here.
Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. faced tough questions during two congressional hearings yesterday.
Anybody asking about swimming in Rock Creek and the floating piles of turd that were like all around him?
He was like diving
with his children.
Yeah. And swimming in jeans. That's swimming in
larger. Jeans. I mean,
so
that's
the problem
really,
with the swimming in jeans is that it all sticks to you for quite some time. As long as you're wearing it, and it gets in there,
kind of,
you know?
Yeah,
it's like...
I just sets up shop.
I know people ask him questions there. Sets up shop, gets a home. The bacteria, it's really something. Lawmakers on the House Appropriations Committee obviously deeply disturbed by that. I'm sure they were, even if they said something. And the Senate Help Committee were scheduled to discuss next year's HHS budget. But amid an ongoing deadly outbreak of measles and swimming in Rock Creek, focus soon shifted to Secretary Kennedy's stance on vaccinations. Now, the question is, that stance on vaccination, Willie, because I'm a simple country lawyer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't understand. Let's sort that. When he talks about his stance.
Yeah.
It's incredible. While most of the world is out talking about the Middle Eastern conflicts, the Ukraine-Russian war, and the travels of our Gulliver, Donald Trump, that they can get on all the negatives on CNN, MSNBC, and the like, and just continue the lies to the American public about where we are, not only financially in this world, but they keep saying that inflation has risen. It has not. The numbers are out. We see the numbers. It's right there. And if you take the time, you'll realize that they're manipulating things to prevent you from understanding the reality of what's coming and how soon it's coming. So in that, there is major progress taking place in this country under this administration, and all of the cabinet members have gone well beyond where they were expected to be at this particular juncture, just a scant few days past the 100-day mark, and they just, on the other side of the aisle, cannot take it. So it's interesting. We live in one of the greatest times in this country to be alive, and there's no doubt about it. If you look at the progress of where the world is going, not just here, but around the world, such as the Emirates that he's visiting in, and I'm sure it wasn't like a San Francisco where they had to go out and clean up the streets because Xi Jinping was coming or the Pope was coming and make it look like it's a clean city. And then within an hour after those dignitaries left that city, it went right back to people crapping in the streets one more time, putting back their tents, and making it look like a third world cesspool. And that's what's happened in California and San Francisco. That's what's happened in New York City. And it's also happening in L.A. and places like Chicago, which were beautiful cities at one time, but they have fell backwards. And if you talk to some of the people that are in construction in major cities, especially New York, you'll find out that their reticence in keeping up with the unions and hiring other people to come in with lesser experience at operating engineers on down to the carpenters because they could find cheaper labor. This you will pay for someplace down the road, and we see it happening now with accidents, with cranes falling over, people being killed because of dropped equipment and dropped pieces off buildings. This has taken place, and this has a lot to do with how these cities are being run down in certain areas and not being the best possible building that we got in that particular city in the past. So that'll bring us around to Dr. Teeth herself, AOC, is gone hardcore now. You know, she is going to threaten about the red line that you cannot cross, and if you touch a hair on somebody's head, you're going to have her to deal with. Oh, wow. Well, Tom Homan is just shaking in his shoes. He's scared because she raised her voice. So the threats coming from her and people like Bernie and Jasmine Crockett and, there's just a litany of them. And now Buttigieg is out on a campaign trail. He really believes in the back of his mind that he could be at some point president of these United States. I seriously doubt that with all that's coming out about his failures running the transportation department in this country. And now it's found out that today that the FAA and all of the nonsense that's going on with equipment failures has not the Pentagon has not been talking to the FAA towers. How's that for a wide open invitation to come in and do some damage by some of these sheet-wearing nuts that we have running around with their faces covered up? All it takes is one individual, one sick mind that can whip up four more to go out and do some damage, and there you have it. Why this is going on, I don't know, other than, like I said yesterday, mental illness is out of control. Let's take a look at AOC here.
DHS, they're using public intimidation because they know that they cannot come for us all. And recently what they said is that DHS is allegedly looking into arresting members of Congress who were showing up for their legal and constitutional obligation to conduct oversight. Tom Homan and Secretary Kristi Noem, you lay a finger on Representative Bonnie Watson Coleman or any of the representatives that were there, we are going to have a problem, because the people who are breaking the law are the people who are not abiding by it. That is not what this country is about, and it will never be what this country is about as long as I'm alive, I'll tell you that much.
Every word of what you just said was wrong.
Because
oh, excuse me. Well, there you go. She's got the line drawn in the sand, and that's going to have to take some... I don't know what to get rid of her, but she's certainly not doing her constituents in her place in New York any good at all. And then, and this brings us to Siri Thanedar and his impeachment process. I'm sorry. This guy is a comical clown, and there is no other explanation how he ever got elected into a seat of power. It's just beyond anyone's wildest imagination. But he's put forth the third impeachment articles against President Trump. And he is just beside himself because he thinks that all the media can talk about is his funny looks, his hair, and his loose teeth. It's unbelievable that this guy gets 1 minute of airtime anywhere. But you got to take a look at this, because it's been the highlight of my day to watch this. So here, take a look.
Ma foi, je ne sais pas. Peut-être jamais. Peut-être.
Nobody has said to me, Mr. Thanedar, the 7 articles of impeachment that you presented to the U.S. Congress, they're piece of shit. You know, they're not good. You missed the point. They're not legally right. He didn't do that. No one says that. But they talk about my hair. They talk about my hair. They talk about my appearance. They talk about where I was born. They talk about everything, my looks. They talk about my age. They talk about why I should be deported back to the country where I was born. They talk about my past business dealings, and they distort my
Bye.
Look around. You're all alone.
Is that not the funniest thing you've ever seen? This guy, I don't know where or what crack of the woodwork he crawled out of, but it's amusing. And how if he stays and gets reelected at any point, it will be a minor miracle in my estimation. But it provides us with the levity that we need to get through the rest of especially the Democratic side of Congress's inability to do their jobs and the sick crap that they come up with to throw against the wall, and hopefully something will stick to make you believe that the Democratic Party has not totally collapsed, which it has. They have no platform. They have no plans. They just want to continue to double down on their ideology platforms and the platforms of getting rid of Donald J. Trump. It's almost somewhat amusing, but for the weak-minded people out there that can be swept up in this wave of hate, discontent, and total denial that the country is actually on its way to doing better. And we're in our world's eye, we're much more received now, and it should be evident to you on this the latest trip that he's on, that he is being welcomed and he is being thought of as a true leader, a person that's himself at all times, doesn't have to put on airs to be anybody else. There's no cowboy hats and flannel shirts. There's no putting on a robe because you're in Saudi Arabia. He's there in the blue suit, plain tie, plain talk. And it helps because they know that Donald J. Trump is always going to be Donald J. Trump. Like it or not, like what he says or not, he's doing the job that he promised to do coming into this administration with hope and perseverance at making it happen, which we have been devoid of we know the last 4 years. We had no president. I don't care what they say. He was not running this country. There were a handful of bureaucrats that got the extreme power handed to them, probably by Jill, who wants still to be in the White House. She did not want to leave. We know this now. And there's no love lost with Kamala there or any of the other candidates that she feels put Biden out in the street early on. We all know now, because of the books that are being written and the people coming forward, that the Article 25 should have been used. But it's not been used. And now they have the audacity to talk about using it on this president that is out working 18 hours a day on the behalf of the little people in this country. And Bernie can say all about the tax cuts for the millionaires, and he's one. He's a person that's never worked a day in his life. He lives up there in Vermont. He's a Brooklyn Jewish guy that made good and never had to work a day in his life, and he's a professed communist. And that should sink home with you. And why people listen to him, in the past he's had some fair ideas, and he probably, had he not been stabbed in the back by the DNC, would have been a viable candidate to run against the last election. But they had to have Biden in there, and they had to pay everybody off to keep him there. Why, we don't know. How much is Hunter's involvement in any of the 4 years that went down? We don't know. How much of Jill's involvement was there? We don't know. We know that their major advisor and third-term president was Barack Hussein Obama. We do know that. And he's the one that stabbed the knife in Joe's back, along with Pelosi and the gang that wanted him out of there. And Schumer's probably involved in that up to his eyeballs as well. But we'll see where that goes and when it comes out. But the impeachment, I don't think, will hold much water now or in the future, with this guy especially. And how he got there is amazing. How Ilhan Omar got to a seat is even more amazing. And the rest of the squad, Tlaib and all of them, they're nasty individuals with bad intent and should not be sitting on the floor of our hallowed Congress, but they are. And it's a darn shame that no one has woke up to this point and done something about it. But there you have it. And then these congressional hearings are such a waste of time and money for these people to sit there and grill people that are out trying to do the job that they were assigned to do, such as RFK. He had to go in and literally shut down the misnomers about taking away Medicare and Medicaid from people that are deserving and giving it to the rich. And as he said at one point to Bernie Sanders, how many millionaires do you know that are on Medicaid? They're none. And they're not giving a tax break to the rich. They're increasing the tax to the rich slightly because we have to do what Trump promised to do, and that is help the people that are putting the meals in front of you when you sit down in a restaurant, the people that bring you everything you need and rely on your tips to make a living and pay their bills, buy their homes, buy their cars, and by the way, you know, those grocery stores that everyone wants to talk about, these are the people that are going into those grocery stores and spending their paychecks there, not the millionaires. So let's get off of that, Congress, especially you, Bernie. You have no room to talk with 3 palatial homes and millions of dollars in the bank. So don't even go there. Don't make me ask where you garnered that money, because if that comes out, that's going to be the ruination of you. And this is why Chuckles the Clown Schumer is shaking in his shoes right now, because they're looking into where the waste and fraud in this government ended up. And it's going to come out, and there is going to be felony charges against some, and they know it. And this is the big bum's rush to make sure that you all hate Donald Trump enough not to believe what's really going on. Well, it's coming out, and let's take a look at RFK's talk here.
There are $235 billion in tax breaks for the top 0.2%. Do you think that makes sense when that same bill would throw 13 million people off of Medicaid? Should we give tax breaks to billionaires and throw kids and others off of Medicaid?
You're conflating the congressional bills with proposals from the president. The president
No, I'm talking
is
about
not
the
making
congressional bill. I'm talking about the bill. The reconciliation bill.
I mean, the president is not trying to do tax cuts for billionaires. He's trying to have no tax on tips and no tax for
$235 billion through
How
the
many
estate
people,
tax.
how many billionaires do you know that are making overtime or making any part of the
235 billion. Look, it's a big bill. There are a lot of provisions in it, but you cannot deny the top 0.2% will get $235 billion in tax breaks while we cut Medicaid.
RFK knows what he's doing, and making America healthy again and cutbacks in waste and fraud in these departments, these health departments, is there. And it's been found out, and it will be fixed. You have even DOJ coming up with the fact that we have over 100 employees, government employees, that are not only taking a check from their government job, but also receiving unemployment benefits that started back in the fact that they were laid off for a short period of time during COVID. Well, that was a gravy train that they didn't want to give up. And now the lid is off the garbage can, and we're looking inside right now, and they hate it. They do not want that to happen. Because Bob and Mary's six-pack out here, we had you fooled. So don't look anymore. Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. It's a travesty that our government has sunk to the levels that it had. And now that we are bringing it back up from the swamp in a very big net that's going to catch a lot of what you didn't expect to be caught, is coming to light. And this is why the bums rush to get rid at all costs of Trump and his cabinet's picks. Has to happen. In the Democratic mind, it has to happen. And we, the people, there was over 11 million of us that spoke out, said what we wanted. We're getting it now, and let's that 11 million people stand up and salute the job being done by this administration, and don't let it fall by the wayside. And certainly the Democratic Party has put nothing together to convince you that they have a better plan. And if they come up with one, I would take a microscope to that, because there'll be a lot of loopholes and side angles in that. That is the Democratic Party. Which brings us today to go for a walk in Stupid Town one more time and read a little bit about what's going on. And there may even be a clip in there for you to look at, so don't stop it too early. There's a lot of things to look at that are comical in this world. So let's take a walk to Stupid Town.
Win so much you may even get tired of winning, and you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning.
It's the Gulf of Mexico! Mexico! Gulf of Mexico!
We're gonna win so much you may even get tired of winning.
Oh, would you look at this?
Yeah, well.
Would you look at that?
Yeah, there's...
What an idiot! Oh, what a loser!
So now they're crying over toys. Toys made in China. They say tariffs will ruin Christmas. I say good. Maybe it's time your kids learn where things come from. Not everything shows up in a box with a smile.
But they talk about my hair. They talk about my hair. They talk about my appearance.
We're gonna win so much you may even get tired of winning.
Dr. Kevin O'Connor was telling White House aides that President Biden's deterioration of his spine, the degeneration, was so significant that if he fell one more time, that he might have to be in a wheelchair and serve in a wheelchair for his second term. The Biden White House tried to hide the extent of his deterioration, both physical and cognitive, as much as possible. And this is just of a piece of an overall campaign to try to conceal from the American people the extent to which the president was really struggling to do his job. When you looked at what was going on with President Biden at the time, it probably doesn't surprise you the extent to which he was deteriorating. But now we have anecdotes and facts about what was really going on behind the scenes with details that Democrats wouldn't share with us until after Election Day. I think it makes little kids with stutters feel when they see you make a comment like that?
First and foremost, I had no idea that Joe Biden ever suffered from a stutter. I think what we see on stage with Joe Biden, Jake, is very clearly a cognitive decline.
Okay.
That's what I'm referring to. It makes me uncomfortable
you are
to watch somebody on stage
that's so amazing. It's so amazing to me
and try and figure out an answer.
A cognitive decline.
Well, when you're trying to tell me that what I was suggesting was
I think that you were mocking his stutter.
True international effort to pressure.
Mr. President, since you left office, there have been a number of books that have come out that claim in your final year there was a dramatic decline in your cognitive abilities. What is your response to these allegations, or are these sources wrong?
Think of what we're left with. We're left with a circumstance where we had an insurrection, not since the Civil War. We had a circumstance where we were in a position that the pandemic. And we're also in a situation where we found ourselves unable to deal with a lot of just basic issues, and which I won't go into in the interest of time. You know, one of the things that all the projects, the benefits. How do you lead the world without having the best infrastructure? How do you lead the world without having the best healthcare in the world? How do you lead the world without having the best education system in the world? How do you lead the world when you don't have that done?
This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever. And F you if you can't handle the truth.
He's as sharp as a tack. He's fine.
He's fine. He's perfectly suited to be president of the United States. He's just fine.
Crooked Joe is a low.
I do hope you all had a good time watching this today. I had a great time bringing it to you. And I hope for the best for you. You're looking again at a weekend. And please don't forget the blonde Aquitaine cattle that you can buy and have shipped to your door from Lazy J Farms and Butcher Shop in Kingsport, Tennessee, over there on Bloomingdale Road. You'll see their number right here. And give them a call or go online and place your order. Butch is there, and he is the head butcher. And I've got to tell you one more time that this is the best beef you'll ever tasted. If you've had Gallagher's Steakhouse, if you've had Omaha Steaks delivered, if you had the best steakhouse steak that you think you've had, it is nothing in comparison to the flavor and the texture of this blonde Aquitaine cattle. And don't forget, he also has pork products that are grown right there on the farm, and you're not getting a bunch of antibiotics or growth hormones in any product they have, and that includes their chicken products and their eggs. So give them a ring today. Place your order. You'll have it tomorrow delivered to your door if you're not local. If you're local, run on down to Bloomingdale Road. And don't forget, when you call in there, tell them Kaiser sent you, and they'll take very good care of you. And I may have to go down there myself today or tomorrow. We had a big cookout last weekend for Mother's Day, and I went through my steaks. So I'll be getting some cut nice and thick, 1 inch and 3/4. So do that, please, for us. And if you're shopping today anywhere, shop local. Give your local merchants a leg up. There are no shortages that MSNBC is going to forecast for the near future. The ships are back at sea from what I'm told, that were held back for deliveries to the West Coast and some to the East Coast. So it's a scant few weeks away. There's no shortages. Gasoline is dropping. The egg prices have dropped. Grocery prices are starting to drop because we're growing our own here one more time. And I urge you all, if you haven't put in your own vegetable garden and you have the room to do it, please do. And if you don't have the room, you can always do a raised box vegetable garden, even on a porch somewhere. So give it a try. You can't get fresher. And hope you enjoyed today's visit to Stupid Town. And we're going to wish you a very happy and blessed rest of this Thursday. And may God bless you all out there. Remember, pray for this country. Pray for our leaders in the world that they will come to the realization that the peace of Christ needs to be upon them and go forward with a peace agreement in all of the hot spots that are taking place in this world today. God bless you all, and remember, stay safe, stay strong, and stay tuned to the Kaiser Report for more information and a couple of great laughs now and then. So bye-bye.
Lazy J Farms has been raising the finest cattle and all-natural pork for 3 generations on the family farm in Fall Branch. Their blonde Aquitaine herd offers a leaner, healthier, and more tasteful beef. And the butcher shop is local, farm to table, and 100% authentic. This is the way your grandfather shopped for me, with steaks cut to order, quality assured, and ready to ship to your door. Open Thursday through Saturday on Bloomingdale Road in Kingsport. Come see us.